My social media just sent me a notification saying, "Congratulations on your work anniversary." Problem is, I've been unemployed for 3 months. Even algorithms are trying to make me feel like I'm winning at life. At this point, my social anxiety has anxiety about how awkward that notification made things. Let's talk about social anxiety. That wonderful condition where you spend 20 minutes rehearsing how to order coffee, only to panic and ask for 1 caffeine, please, while the barista stares at you like you just spoke ancient languages. It's like your brain hired the world's worst life coach who whispers, "Everyone's judging you," and they're probably right. You know what's interesting? We live in an age where we can order food, find dates, and buy furniture without speaking to a single human being. Yet somehow small talk at the grocery store checkout still feels more challenging than rocket science. Paper or plastic? Shouldn't require this much internal preparation, but here we are. Here's the fascinating part. Social anxiety isn't really about being shy. Psychologists call it social phobia, and it's basically your brain's security system going haywire. It's like having a smoke detector that goes off every time someone makes eye contact. Danger, danger, they're looking at you. They might say hello. But wait, it gets more interesting. The real twist is that people with social anxiety often come across as aloof or distant when we're actually just internally panicking. It's like being trapped in a really awkward situation where you're simultaneously the observer and the participant, but without any of the confidence or natural flow. What amazes me is how networking events exist. Come mingle with strangers and convince them you're worth knowing while eating tiny sandwiches that fall apart the moment you touch them. It's like social anxiety boot camp designed by someone who clearly never experienced social anxiety. If awkwardness had a welcoming committee, it would be a networking mixer with mandatory name tags and icebreaker games. The recent years were basically social anxiety's vacation time. For a while, avoiding people wasn't weird, it was recommended. We finally had a legitimate excuse for ordering groceries online and communicating exclusively through memes. It was beautiful. Then suddenly everyone expected us to remember how to make conversation about something other than bread recipes and streaming shows. Let me tell you something about just be yourself. The most unhelpful advice ever given to socially anxious people. Be myself. Myself is currently rehearsing 3 different responses to "How are you?" in case someone asks, while simultaneously planning escape routes from this conversation that hasn't even started yet. Which version of myself are we talking about here? Psychologists explain this through something called the spotlight effect. We think everyone's paying way more attention to us than they actually are. In reality, most people are too busy worrying about their own awkwardness to notice yours. It's like thinking you're the star of everyone else's movie when most of them are just trying to remember if they turn off their coffee maker before leaving the house. You know, it's truly puzzling. Those people who say, "You just need to put yourself out there." Oh, really? Put myself out there? Like what, a yard sale? Come check out this anxious introvert. Slightly used, handles small talk poorly, but great at overthinking your casual comments for weeks afterward. If social anxiety were a superpower, we'd be able to detect judgment from 3 city blocks away and anticipate exactly what could go wrong in any social situation with incredible accuracy. Unfortunately, this superpower is about as useful as being able to fly, but only during thunderstorms while wearing metal clothing. The challenging part about social anxiety is the anticipatory worry, spending more energy stressing about the social event than the actual event takes. I once worried for 2 weeks about a 20-minute coffee meeting, rehearsed conversation topics, planned my outfit, mapped out parking options, and had 3 backup plans for each topic of discussion. The meeting went fine. I could have planned a space mission with less preparation. Dating applications were supposedly designed to make meeting people easier, but they've just created new levels of social anxiety. Now we get to be rejected by people we've never even met. Sorry. Your carefully curated personality summary and strategically chosen photos don't make me want to spend 90 minutes pretending to enjoy overpriced appetizers while we both exaggerate how much we love outdoor activities. Here's what's absolutely wild. We'll spend hours crafting the perfect text message to sound casual and spontaneous. "Hey, want to grab coffee?" Takes 47 minutes and 5 different drafts because apparently the fate of the universe depends on whether we use 1 exclamation point or 2. Heaven forbid we seem too eager, too indifferent. It's like emotional perfectionism syndrome. Psychologists talk about catastrophic thinking, imagining the worst possible outcome in social situations. So when your boss says, "Can we talk?" your brain immediately jumps to getting fired, losing your apartment, moving back in with your parents, and eventually becoming one of those people who collects ceramic figurines. All because of a 3-word sentence that probably just means, "Did you see my email about the meeting?" The really entertaining part is when people try to cure your social anxiety with exposure therapy advice. Just start conversations with strangers. Sure, great idea. Let me just walk up to random people and practice being awkward until I achieve mastery. It's like telling someone afraid of heights to cure it by extreme sports. Maybe let's start with a step stool and work our way up to tall buildings. But wait, it gets more complex. Social media was supposed to make socializing easier, but now we have performance anxiety about our online personalities too. Should I like this post? Is commenting too much? Is not commenting rude? If I watch their story, do I have to respond? We've successfully made even passive social interaction stressful. It's impressive in the most exhausting way. If socially anxious people had their own dating application, every profile would read, "Looking for someone who understands that silence isn't awkward. Small talk is challenging, and yes, I do need 24 hours. Notice before any social event so I can mentally prepare and come up with exactly 3 conversation topics plus emergency backup subjects." You know, fascinating about fake it till you make it advice? We're already experts at performing. We perform being comfortable, perform being interested in colleagues' weekend fishing stories, perform knowing what anyone's talking about when they mention sports. We're basically method actors in the play called Functioning Adult, and we're all improvising without a script. The irony is that people with social anxiety are often incredibly empathetic and great listeners because we're constantly analyzing social cues and trying to make others feel comfortable. We're like social anxiety superheroes, terrible at small talk, but excellent at making sure no one else feels as awkward as we do. It's emotional intelligence disguised as personality traits. Here's a fun hypothetical scenario. If every socially anxious person suddenly became confident overnight, half the world's customer service jobs would disappear because no one would be polite enough to tolerate being put on hold for 45 minutes just to ask a simple question. We're basically the only people still saying please and thank you to automated phone systems. Try what therapists call cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, challenging those catastrophic thoughts. Instead of "everyone will think I'm foolish if I ask this question," try "everyone else probably has the same question but is too scared to ask." It's like being the person who finally points out obvious things that everyone's thinking but nobody wants to say. Another technique is the anxiety reframe. Instead of trying to eliminate nervousness, reinterpret it as excitement. Your body doesn't know the difference between "I'm nervous about this presentation" and "I'm excited about this presentation." It's the same physical response, just different mental framing. Your heart is racing either way, but one story makes you feel like a victim and the other makes you feel like you're about to achieve something. Remember when we thought adult life would involve more dinner parties and sophisticated conversation? Instead, most of our social interaction happens through digital reactions and emoji responses. We've essentially returned to pictographs, but somehow even ancient communication methods feel more socially demanding than sending a thumbs up emoji to acknowledge someone's existence. The wonderful thing about social anxiety is how it makes you incredibly observant. We notice when someone seems uncomfortable, when they need an escape from a conversation, when they're feeling left out. We're basically social anxiety helpers, awkward heroes who swoop in to save other awkward people from social situations gone wrong. But here's the thing about not wanting to be a used car salesperson. Genuine connection isn't about selling yourself. It's about finding people who appreciate the awkward, overthinking, wonderfully unique person you actually are. The right people will think your social anxiety quirks are endearing, not annoying. They're out there probably also rehearsing conversation topics and planning escape routes from this very social gathering. If we had a social anxiety support group, we'd spend the first 20 minutes in silence because no one wants to be the first to speak. Then someone would finally say, "So ... this is awkward." And suddenly we'd all be best friends because finally someone acknowledged what we were all thinking. Try behavioral activation, starting with tiny social steps. Don't aim for become social butterfly. Aim for make eye contact with one cashier today. It's like social fitness training. You wouldn't start weightlifting with the heaviest weights, so why start socializing with the most challenging situations? The truth about social anxiety is that it often comes from caring deeply about others' feelings and wanting to make good impressions. That's actually a beautiful quality, even if it feels exhausting sometimes. The goal isn't to stop caring. It's to care in a way that doesn't paralyze you with self-consciousness. So next time someone tells you to be more social, remember that you're not broken for preferring authentic connection over superficial networking. You're not antisocial. You're just selective about your social energy and performance-based friendships. And honestly, the world needs more people who value quality over quantity in their social interactions, even if it means we all have to practice ordering coffee a few more times. The beautiful paradox of social anxiety is that once you accept it as part of who you are, rather than something to cure, it often becomes less controlling. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle against it, the deeper you sink. But when you stop fighting and start floating, you find your way to solid ground. Thank you for joining this exploration of social anxiety. Remember, if you're struggling with these feelings, consider speaking with a mental health professional who can provide personalized guidance. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. Many of us are figuring out this whole social thing one awkward interaction at a time.